Danny and I are parked across the street from Bedford Hills, the women's prison looming like a stone fortress. 5 years. 5 years Karen has been locked away, and today she walks free. But don't expect a tearful reunion. Not from us. Not after the betrayal, the gut-wrenching treachery she and my own brother cooked up 6 years ago. The memory still festers, a toxic wound that refuses to heal. Let's rewind. Give you the backstory. I'm Michael Davis. Back then I was 39, Karen was 42, and Danny was a restless 16. My life was security. Designed systems, installed them, supervised the whole damn operation. Spin-off from my military days. Explosives, flight lines, keeping things safe was what I did. For 17 years, Karen and I were good. Or so I believed. Happy marriage. A love life that was, well, satisfying. Then the rot set in. It started with Ricky, my brother. Karen, in her infinite wisdom, insisted he move in. Divorced, adrift, back in the city, needing a place. He's a leech, Karen, I argued. A con artist. He'll take us for everything we've got. Ricky, always the charmer, thought every woman was putty in his hands. He wouldn't try anything with my wife, I said, more a question than a statement. Don't be ridiculous, Michael, Karen scoffed, waving away my concerns like flies. He's family. Family. That word echoed hollow in my ears. I trusted Karen, mostly. Ricky? Never. Should have listened to my gut, that primal warning screaming in my head. But Karen, with her bleeding heart and unwavering belief in second chances, won the argument. Ricky moved in. I laid down the law the day he arrived. Job hunt starts now, Ricky. This isn't a hotel. Get a job. Find your own place. I'll help you get started. But this is temporary. Crystal clear. Ricky flashed that oily smile, the one that always made my skin crawl. Appreciate it, big brother. Don't worry, I'll be out of your hair before you know it. That smile, it promised trouble. Work exploded. Massive security overhaul for a luxury townhouse complex in Manhattan. Cutting-edge tech, tight deadlines, insane hours. 12 14-hour days, 7 days a week. But the bonus for wrapping it up early? Enough to change our lives. My crew was the best in the business, driven, skilled, relentless, and I was right there beside them. Elbows deep in wiring, blueprints spread across dusty floors, pushing, pulling, sweating. We finished in 3 months, a month ahead of schedule. Bonus landed, overtime checks stacked up. Mr. Sterling, my boss, a gruff but decent man, clapped me on the back. Incurable romantic Davis, saving up for that cruise Karen's always wanted. He wasn't far off. I envisioned first-class cabins, champagne on deck, flying to the port in style. My crew and I got a week off, paid, bonus in hand. I tacked on vacation, stretched it to 2 weeks. Time for Karen and me to reconnect. And time to light a fire under Ricky's deadbeat ass. He'd been drifting from one dead-end job to another, each ending in a sob story of unfair treatment and crooked bosses. But before my leave even started, A subtle unease began to creep into my mind. A whisper of suspicion, a prickle of doubt. Being home more, I started to notice things. Ricky's smirk, a permanent fixture now, especially when he looked at me. Karen and Ricky started with these little jokes, always at my expense. Harmless banter, right? Then it escalated. "Michael, grab your brother a beer, will you?" "Michael, your turn to clean the kitchen tonight." Annoyance flickered, then flared when I dared to question the division of labor. Suddenly I was the unreasonable one, the bad guy for wanting a little fairness. The air in the house thickened, turned frosty. My son Danny, sharp as a tack, picked up on the shift. Hardware run to Home Depot in Bay Ridge. Driving down the Belt Parkway, Danny's voice broke the silence. "Dad," he started, hesitant, "while you were working on that Manhattan project, things got kind of weird here." My gut clenched. "Weird how?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. "Mom and Ricky, they started sitting really close on the couch, giggling a lot when I'd walk into the room. Then they'd just stop talking, like they were hiding something." My blood ran a little colder. "One day," Danny continued, his voice barely above a whisper, "I came home, and I heard noises from your bedroom, like the noises you and Mom used to make. The air in the car seemed to vanish. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I asked Mom about it," Danny said, his voice trembling now. "Ricky grabbed me, shoved me against the wall, told me to shut my mouth or he'd put me in the hospital." Danny's voice cracked. "Then he hit me, Dad, hard, in the ribs, said I'd be joining you there." "When did this happen?" I choked out, my vision tunneling. "Right before you finished that job, a few days ago. I even heard Ricky bragging to Mom, saying he'd set you straight, show you who's in charge now." Mom just laughed. My hands started to shake, the steering wheel vibrating in my grip. "You can mess with me," I said, my voice a low growl, "but you do not threaten my son." I pulled into the Home Depot parking lot, my body trembling so violently I couldn't drive another inch. "Dad," Danny said, his eyes wide with concern, "I've never seen you look like this. You're scaring me." "Son," I said, turning to him, my face burning with a cold fury, "you're not the one who needs to be scared. Your mother and my brother, they're about to face something they never saw coming. Something biblical." I took a deep, ragged breath, trying to control the storm raging inside me. "First," I said, my voice hardening, "we get proof. Solid, irrefutable proof. Then we unleash my lawyer. And then we disappear. We'll be long gone when the hammer falls." Monday morning, I walked straight into Mr. Sterling's office. Paul Sterling, ex-military, a man of few words and even fewer tolerances, especially for cheaters. His own wife had blindsided him with divorce papers while he was deployed overseas. I laid it all out, the whole sordid story. He listened in silence, his face grim, jaw clenched. When I finished, he didn't hesitate. "Take all the time you need, Michael. Family first. Always." Then he surprised me. "And," he added, a glint in his eye, "consider this a company perk." He sold me a state-of-the-art surveillance system at cost. Hidden cameras, pinhole mics, a central recording hub with redundant drives, Wi-Fi connectivity, cloud backup, the works. Military-grade stuff. "Install it Saturday," he said, handing me the boxes. "Document everything." Saturday, Danny and I transformed our house into a digital fortress. Tiny cameras concealed in smoke detectors, microphones hidden in light fixtures, the recording hub tucked away in the basement. Told Karen and Ricky I was coming down with something, a nasty flu. They feigned sympathy, their eyes glinting with something I couldn't quite decipher then, but understood all too well later. They conveniently made plans to go to a barbecue in Queens, giving us the house to ourselves. System check, cameras live, split screen on my laptop, recorders rolling, cell phone apps synced, every whisper, every sigh, every lie captured and stored. Lawyer consultation, Monday morning. Retainer paid, cloud access shared. Divorce papers drafted, restraining orders ready to be filed. The plan was set. Danny, bless him, played sick at school. Vague family issues. Packed 2 duffel bags, essentials only, stashed them in the garage. Bought a beat-up Ford pickup, cash, no questions asked, from some shady dealer in the Bronx. Didn't want our cars traceable if Karen decided to report them stolen. The truck, a rusty relic, was parked near an abandoned warehouse on the East River waterfront. 2 days before our planned vanishing act, I walked back into that house, the house that was no longer home. Karen and Ricky greeted me with sickeningly sweet smiles. Karen, saccharine voice dripping with fake concern. "Sorry for being so difficult lately, honey." Ricky, the snake, handed me a Foster's frosty mug, my supposed favorite. A peace offering, a poisoned chalice. Sleep came quickly, too quickly. Then, blackness. Woke up strapped to a chair, my wrists and ankles bound tight. Karen's face swam into focus, inches from mine, eyes burning with ice. Slap across my face, the sting echoing in the sudden silence. "Found the lawyer's receipt, you bastard," she hissed, spittle flying. "You think you're just going to divorce me? Think again." She grinned, a chilling, predatory grin. "This is the new reality, Michael. You bring home the paycheck, you sleep in the spare room. Ricky moves into the master bedroom. Understand? You think I'll just accept this?" I choked out, my voice raw. "If you don't," Karen hissed, her grin widening, "you'll never see Danny again. Ever." The threat hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. You cheating whore," I spat, the words laced with venom. That's when Ricky erupted. He stepped forward, a sneer twisting his lips, and unleashed a brutal assault. Fists pounded my face, my ribs, my stomach. "No one talks to his woman like that," he snarled, each blow a lesson in respect, a brutal demonstration of who's in charge now. I felt ribs crack, pain exploding in white-hot waves. He hit me in the gut, a sickening crunch, and I vomited, a hot, foul spray that splattered across his face and chest. He went ballistic, a wild animal unleashed. Then, Mercifully, darkness swallowed me again. Next thing I knew, Danny's face was above me, his young face etched with fear and determination, sawing frantically at the zip ties binding my wrists. "Dad," I saw everything on the laptop, came as fast as I could, waited until they passed out. "I'm so sorry, Dad. I should have been faster." "Get me to a hospital, Danny," I gasped, my voice a ragged whisper. "Now." He drove like a bat out of hell, Brooklyn streets a blur of neon and shadows. 24-hour clinic in the Bronx. Dr. Rosen, weary eyes, seen it all. Danny explained everything while I was wheeled into X-ray. Dr. Rosen emerged, shaking his head, disbelief etched on his face. He ordered blood tests, his expression grim. Back in the exam room, the doctor walked in, his voice grave. "Mr. Davis, you understand I am legally obligated to report this to the police. The injuries are severe, fractured ribs, broken collarbone. But the toxicology report, it's alarming. A dangerous cocktail of sedatives and something else. Something I can't quite identify yet." "Dr. Rosen," I pleaded, my voice hoarse. "Could you just hold off on the report? Just for 24 hours. We need to disappear. Get out of their reach before the police get involved. Before they find us." He looked at me, his eyes searching mine, then sighed. 24 hours, Mr. Davis. That's all I can do. You should be mobile enough to leave by then." 4 hours later, around 9 a.m., the clinic doors burst open. Karen and Ricky stormed in, faces contorted with rage, demanding to see me. Danny tensed, instinctively stepping in front of me, ready to defend. But Nurse Martha, a calm, unflappable woman with eyes that had seen too much, intercepted them. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice cool and professional. "I don't have a patient by that name." "Don't lie to me," Karen shrieked, her voice echoing through the waiting room. "I know they're here. The cell phone tracking app shows they're here at this clinic." Danny and I exchanged a look of dawning horror. The tracking app. We'd been careless. Nurse Martha, bless her quick thinking, remained unfazed. "Let me just double-check the admission logs," she said smoothly, pretending to scan a computer screen. "Just started my shift. Ah, yes, here we are. Davis, Michael Davis, admitted last night." "Good," Karen snapped, pushing past Martha. "I'm here to take him home. Now." "I'm afraid that's not possible at this time," Martha said, her voice firm but polite. "Mr. Davis is currently unconscious, under heavy sedation for his injuries." "Sedation?" Karen's voice rose an octave. "What injuries?" "Multiple fractures," Martha replied, her face impassive. "Ribs, collarbone. We had to sedate him to set the bones properly." "I demand to see my husband immediately," Karen shrieked, her face red with fury. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Davis," Martha said, her voice unwavering. "But for some reason, you are explicitly not on his visitor list. Nor, strangely, is a Dwayne Porter. Quite unusual, wouldn't you agree?" Ricky stepped forward, chest puffed out, a menacing glint in his eyes. "How are you going to stop us?" Nurse Martha simply smiled, a small, knowing smile that sent a shiver down my spine. "I won't. Security will." "And," she added, glancing towards the clinic entrance, "according to clinic protocol, when threats are made, the police are automatically notified. Oh, look, there they are now." 2 uniformed NYPD officers walked through the doors, their eyes scanning the room. Nurse Martha leaned closer, whispering to Danny and me, "Don't worry. This isn't the first time someone's tried to pull this. They'll be processed and released by evening, probably." "Where were you planning on going?" My mind raced. "Upstate," I mumbled. "Somewhere remote." "Call my Uncle Tony," Martha suggested quietly. "He has a cabin in the Catskills. Heard about your situation. Said you're welcome to use it. Said he's never heard a story so messed up." "Thank you," I whispered, gratitude flooding through me. We'd initially planned to head west, disappear into the anonymity of the national parks, but upstate, closer to Danny's school, felt safer now. Accessed our bank accounts remotely, transferred every penny except $1,000 from checking and savings to a new account at a different bank. No cruise for Karen now. Nurse Martha called later that afternoon, a hushed voice on the phone. Karen had been back, trying to retrieve my car from the clinic parking lot. As we loaded our meager belongings into the beat-up pickup, Danny asked the question that had been nagging at me. "What about them tracking us on our cell phones, Dad?" I managed a grim smile, despite the throbbing pain in my ribs. "Son," I said, a cold resolve hardening my voice, "you're about to see just how resourceful, how nasty your old man can be when he's pushed too far." We drove back to the clinic. In the deserted parking lot, I laid out the plan. "We leave our phones here. Danny, make a tiny cut on your finger." Danny winced but complied, drawing a bead of blood. He smeared it across his phone screen. I did the same with mine, the metallic tang of blood filling my nostrils. Hid my phone under the passenger seat of my car, still parked at the clinic. Danny dialed 911 on his bloodied phone. "Help! Please, no!" He dropped the phone onto the asphalt, a final, desperate cry for help. We jumped into the rusty pickup, tires spitting gravel, and peeled out of the parking lot, leaving our old lives, our old identities behind. Upstate New York. Uncle Tony's cabin in the Catskills, our refuge. Karen and Ricky, still tracking our phones, followed the signal. Not to us, but to the clinic parking lot. Then, to my abandoned car, parked and silent. They searched the area frantically, convinced we were hiding nearby, injured and desperate. Minutes later, sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder, closer. County sheriff's cars converged on the clinic, lights flashing, tires screeching. Deputies swarmed the parking lot, guns drawn. My phone, discovered under the car seat, smeared with fresh blood, painted a grim picture. Danny's bloodied phone, found discarded near the edge of the parking lot, added to the scene of apparent abduction and violence. Karen and Ricky, caught in the middle of the unfolding drama, were quickly apprehended, handcuffed, and shoved into separate patrol cars. Detective Miller, a seasoned investigator with a steely gaze, took charge. Interrogation rooms, lawyers summoned. The wheels of justice began to grind. Neither Karen nor Ricky were prepared for the evidence Detective Miller laid out before them. In the sterile interrogation room, Detective Miller leaned across the table facing Karen and her lawyer, his voice calm but cutting. "We recovered your husband's cell phone, found his lawyer's contact information. We know about the divorce proceedings, Mrs. Davis. Know all about your extracurricular activities." Karen, attempting a pathetic display of wounded innocence. Divorce? Adultery? Why would Michael think such terrible things? I'm so hurt, so shocked. Detective Miller's eyes remained cold, unwavering. "You know what your husband does for a living, Mrs. Davis? Security systems. He installed a state-of-the-art system in your home, audio and video surveillance throughout the entire house. His lawyer provided us with the cloud access codes. We've downloaded everything, every conversation, every encounter. We also have the security footage from the clinic, Dr. Rosen's medical report detailing your husband's injuries, the toxicology report. We know about the cheating, the drugging, the brutal assault, Mrs. Davis. You and Mr. Porter are facing multiple felony charges: assault, unlawful imprisonment, drugging, attempted murder. We haven't found bodies yet, but the 911 call from your son, the bloodied cell phones, it paints a very disturbing picture. Care to explain?" Karen's carefully constructed facade crumbled. Her face paled. Her eyes darted nervously around the room. Her lawyer, sweating profusely, frantically whispered in her ear. Karen, her voice barely a whisper, finally choked out, "My lawyer advises me to remain silent." The same scene played out in the adjacent interrogation room with Ricky. Charges mounted: assault, spousal abuse, unlawful imprisonment, child endangerment, attempted murder, conspiracy. Danny and I retreated to the sanctuary of Uncle Tony's cabin, nestled deep in the Catskill Mountains. Grandma Rose Labo, Uncle Tony's mother, a woman with a heart as big as the sky, welcomed us with open arms. "Just call me Grandma Rose," she insisted, her smile warm and genuine. Uncle Tony, a quiet, steady presence, showed us to the cabin, a rustic haven surrounded by towering pines and whispering streams. Grandma Rose's youngest daughter, Lisa, a vibrant, spirited girl Danny's age, seemed interested. Danny, initially withdrawn and guarded, slowly began to thaw under her easygoing charm. The interest blossomed into something deeper, something real. We settled into a new rhythm of life, the quiet solitude of the mountains, a balm to our wounded souls. We followed the news from afar, watching as the trial dates approached, the media frenzy surrounding the cheating wife and brother case intensifying with each passing day. The prosecuting attorney, sensing a slam dunk, added attempted manslaughter to the charges, piling on the pressure. We made one carefully calculated move, a single defiant gesture. We sent a photograph to the DA, a picture of Danny and me standing in front of a local landmark, holding a recent copy of the New York Times, picked up in Albany, mailed from Pennsylvania by a long-haul trucker friend. A simple note enclosed: phones discarded, no further contact. The trial became a media circus, a public spectacle of betrayal and violence. Karen and Ricky were vilified online, their faces plastered across every news channel, their every misdeed dissected and scrutinized. 7 years for Karen, 15 for Ricky. Justice of a sort served. Prison life, we heard through the grapevine, was interesting for both of them. Ricky, surprisingly, became a minor celebrity within the prison walls, his notoriety offering a twisted form of protection. Brotherly duty, I arranged for monthly care packages to be sent to him. Basic necessities, toiletries, nothing extravagant. I learned from my other brother, Anthony, that it infuriated Ricky, which I confess brought me a small measure of satisfaction. Karen, we heard, found her niche in the women's correctional facility, gravitating towards a certain social circle. Rumor had it, she was honing her oral skills, finding a new kind of twisted power within those concrete walls. 5 years have passed, and now here we are, parked across from Bedford Hills, waiting. Not for Karen, but for closure. The anger, the raw, burning rage has subsided, replaced by a weary resignation, a dull ache of betrayal. Therapy helped. Time, as they say, heals, or at least numbs the pain. And 2 extraordinary women, Grandma Rose and her friend Brenda. They moved in with me upstate, creating a new kind of family, a haven of warmth and acceptance. We share a house now, a real home, filled with laughter and the comforting aroma of Brenda's baking. When my stamina falters, Brenda's apple pies work wonders. And yes, the occasional little blue pill helps too. Danny's still here, of course. Lisa, Grandma Rose's daughter, and her sister, both firmly entrenched in his life. 2-year-old daughter, 5-year-old son, 6-month-old daughter. Danny's been stockpiling shotgun shells lately. Teenage boys, hormones raging, overprotective father mode kicking in, I suppose. Karen's youngest sister, Sarah, pulls up in a nondescript Camry. She's the designated pickup. As Karen walks through the prison gates, blinking in the harsh sunlight, a young woman in a business suit, a process server, intercepts her. Divorce papers served, along with an envelope. Inside, photographs. Pictures of Danny, Lisa, and the 3 grandchildren Karen has never met. A note, handwritten, stark and unforgiving. And a bank account number with $225,000, the proceeds from the sale of our old house in Brooklyn. Your grandchildren, the note reads. Look across the road. That's us. That's as close as you'll ever get. Karen's eyes flickered across the street, searching, bewildered. She spotted us, sitting in the parked van, a silent tableau of her past and her future. A flicker of something, regret, recognition, crossed her face. Then she turned away, walking towards her sister's car, towards a new, uncertain life. We were already pulling away, the van merging into the traffic, heading back to the mountains, to our new home, to our new beginning. Never looked back. The end of the story. Did you see that coming? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you were hooked, and subscribe for more captivating tales. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Thanks for listening. See you next time.